Hey guys, part 2 of my conversation with Daniella Monet. We're getting a Victorious update. If you were a fan of the Nickelodeon show Victorious, we're going to get into that. And does she stay in touch with her cast members, whether it's Ariana Grande, Victoria Justice, Jamie Lynn Spears? We're getting into all of that. Also, her thoughts on the Nickelodeon documentary Quiet on Set and what she dealt with behind the scenes in this industry, as well as my additions to that. Health journeys continue. Daniella's Digest, which is her wellness community. We're talking Christmas movies. And we're officially soul sisters. And if you didn't know that after part 1, you're definitely going to know that after part 2. Hope you enjoy. So that time period where you took control, you were on Victorious.
Yeah.
With Victoria
Justice, Ariana Grande.
Oh, Ariana was on that one too.
She was on that show, yeah.
What was that like?
Oh, it was a blast. It was fun. It was great. Like, the cast and I are still close to this day, and I'm sure you know, like in this industry, that's rare. I've worked on a lot of things where it's like you kind of just, it's almost like culmination. The show ends and you're like, best of luck, like hope you do well in life, you know? But then we have a bond and it's special.
Well, I feel like Victoria's such a good girl.
She's a good girl.
And you are too. And so it makes sense that you guys, because I see her, you know, out and about. She's such a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, the dynamic was good. Like we all were so different, and that creates like this, there's no competitive nature. We all really wanted the best for the show, and I think that's what made the show so unique, is that everyone was really funny in their own way or had their own talents, their own abilities.
That's where you were Trina, right?
That was when I was Trina, Yeah, it was so fun.
So cool. Okay,
time.
so Victoria Justice.
Yeah.
Since we're in this.
Oh, Liz Gillies, who's hysterical. She just finished Dynasty, and she's done tons of stuff since. Matt Bennett, Avin Jogia, Leon Thomas, who's a multiple Grammy winner, producer, artist. The talent was so, and I'm like, I'm the mom. I'm still the mom.
So funny.
It's so fun. And I love it that way. Like, I really do feel like I can watch them all and just, I light up and I'm proud. It's so cool to even be a part of something that was the beginning of their, you know, careers.
Yeah. So you guys keep in touch. Do you ever hang out?
Yeah, once in a while. I mean, everyone's in such different parts of the world most of the time.
That's the challenge.
But yeah, we do. And when we do, it's great. Like,
have you gone to like Ariana's concert?
Have I been to one of her concerts? Good question. No, not really. Not recently. As when she was younger, yeah, I would always go. Yeah, for sure. They're huge now. I mean, this is like a whole nother level. It's almost harder for me to like comprehend it all. That like, it's just my little
Ariana Grande is huge.
Huge. Yeah.
So wild. When she's gone through some of the tougher things in life, do you reach out to her? Like, do you guys talk?
Once in a while, yes. So we do talk. When there's something that like is obviously like triggering, or we definitely do connect, and we're so supportive. She's very supportive. She's reached out to me before when things have, you know, happened, and I'm not like, I wouldn't say we talk often. It's kind of a cool relationship in that like I feel like I'm the same I was then as I am today, where it's if they need me, I'm here. And that feels good. Like I could just sort of watch from afar and check in when when I'm like, oh, good job, whatever, you know, here if you need me.
I know. I feel the same way because I've worked with so many people over this like 20-year span or whatever it is, but we all love each other.
Yeah.
But we're all out doing our thing. And then like I'll throw a party and I'll invite everybody, and that's when I get to see everyone.
I think it's
healthy. Because otherwise, you know, it's too hard. Everyone's everywhere.
And it's hard. And it's like at this age, I don't feel like there's you don't need to make that constant effort to like stay in touch. It's like there's a known thing where it's like we're good. We've got history, you know, and it's there and it'll never change. And I'm still who I am. I've just got a couple kids and a husband, and, you know.
Yeah. So cool. You worked with Jamie Lynn Spears too, right?
I did, yeah.
She's been on the show before too.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
We had a really good conversation.
I haven't seen her in so long. That was really the beginning of like my Nickelodeon journey, which was
with that
so
show?
Long ago. Yeah. So we went on.
So did you see that documentary they did?
I never watched it.
You won't, huh?
No, I mean, I just don't really. No, I probably won't.
Did you have like any bad experiences that makes you not want to?
No, I wouldn't say anything bad. You know, the good thing about my journey with Nickelodeon is I was a little older. So I started when I did the pilot for Victorious, I actually had my 19th birthday. So I was an adult. And I had also grown up in the industry, whereas like most of my cast, except for Victoria, of course, like they were kind of green, right? So I think I understood the dynamic that is the entertainment industry. There's a lot of unique characters and things that just wouldn't pass on another HR's table in the corporate world. It's just kind of like you love hard, and there's also like crossing the line sometimes. I feel lucky that like I came out unscathed, and I don't know anyone who's been deeply affected outside of the things that were mentioned in that documentary that I didn't know about, which was really hard to process.
Yeah.
But ultimately, like my experience molded me in a way that I like am really grateful for. Totally eye-opening, certain things where you grow up fast, but definitely grateful for it.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet. My husband saw it.
Yeah.
And it's I think everything's coming to light, which is good because it'll protect the next generation.
Totally.
But it gets really depressing.
Yeah.
Like I get really, really depressed. And even like, you know, the P. Diddy stuff recently, like when all of it was happening, I was like, wait, I remember going to his birthday party when I was like 23 maybe. And I'm like, how did I come out unscathed? How did I get to be a lucky one that didn't have to deal with some of this stuff, whether it was Harvey or whoever, because I was interacting with everybody, interviewing everyone, working with everyone. And I started getting really depressed recently, thinking about all of it, maybe because I have a baby.
Yes, it changes for sure.
It changes where you're like, how could this stuff be going on behind the scenes that you have no idea? And then other people that you talk to that like maybe were colleagues of yours are like, oh yeah, you didn't know? And I'm like, no, I didn't freaking know.
Yeah.
Like, how would I know this?
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I think for me, like, I can see how it's, first of all, when you show up to work, like, I think like you and I also, we show up for work and I love to be there and I have a great time and I'll make friends and it'll feel really homey and real for me. But I'm also, at the end of the day, I know that like a lot of these jobs start and they end. So I'm there to do a job. But I would be lying if I said I didn't think that there were tones from people or like energy from people that like didn't necessarily always feel safe or normal.
Yeah.
But I've also, I don't know, maybe I'm just lucky in that like I could see writing on the wall. And I've always just been really good about navigating, and maybe it's like the manipulator in me, but like I can navigate certain dynamics in a way that feels right for me. It's like what keeps me feeling safe. Like I'm going to try to take control and make sure that like, you know, I know, we know that that's not, you know.
Never happening.
Totally.
Stay away.
Totally.
Yeah, no, I feel that because anytime, you know, I was invited to the Four Seasons or the Peninsula, whatever hotel it was, I always brought Kevin with me.
Yeah, smart.
I never wanted to be alone. I didn't know why.
Yeah.
I just knew I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I just brought Kevin everywhere with me.
I get that. That was like, my husband was my rock at that point, where that really unlocked like another level of work for me. Cause it was like, oh, now he's visiting today. Like I have a new spark for this. And also I know that like, I'm good, like I'm safe.
Yeah.
There was never anything to really be worried about, thank goodness. But there is certainly like a different attention that you would get as a female in this business.
Yeah.
In certain cases.
Yeah, it's a wild industry. I mean, like, you know, you come in knowing that there's like casting couches or whatever, but you never know if there's like forceful stuff or like people being trapped in situations. Like I didn't know all of that because I knew my dad didn't want me to be here. My dad's like, Maria, no. And I was like, Dad, you raised me right. I'm going to make good decisions. I didn't realize that it wasn't just my decision that was going to be compromised, right?
Sure.
Like when you see and hear how all of this has gone on for people, it's really upsetting.
It really is. And I just can't even begin to imagine what those situations must feel like.
Yeah, I would freeze. I'm sure I would freeze.
And it's hard too, because I know like in this industry, because it's always like this, there's this like element of being thirsty, you know? And like I had times where I was like, man, do I want this job? And if God forbid, if anyone made me uncomfortable, like who knows what I would have done or thought or, you know? And I feel so lucky that like my experience was really special in so many ways. And I look back at it with such a fond light. And now like approaching it again, I have a totally new perspective where, you know, I'm just much more intentional, even more so strategic, you know?
Yeah, I think that's such a nice way to talk about it, because I always say, you know, we can't judge other people because we never really know what it's like to be in their shoes and why things go the way they go. And so you know, I was in a situation with a medical professional recently that was very, very, very uncomfortable. I mean, he was doing really uncomfortable things, and I was just like, "What?" And he was like, "You know, this man loves you," like different things. And I was like, "Excuse me?" Like I'm getting better where I'm not just totally in shock.
Sure.
Where I can at least say that, and then I had to like get Kevin on the phone on FaceTime and be like, "I need you to stay with me." And so I was getting an IV, and I'm like, just stay with me. My best friend had to stay with me through the second bag. Like, and I was like, I froze. I was so scared. And so like, how do people do this stuff? And I forget what my point of my story was. There's some point to it.
No, I understand. You probably thought that you would handle, like if you were to look at that from an outside perspective, you would have been like, no, I gotta go.
No, this is what it was. I didn't want to tell anybody.
I know.
Because I didn't want them to think that it was
me leading it on.
Me, that I was the issue, that I'm a complainer, and I was like, wow, this is how it happens. This is how an even worse situation happens. Maybe someone gets raped or whatever, and this is why they don't report it. I understand it so deeply, because you don't want to look like the problem, because we are trained as women to not look like a problem.
Oh, girl, that's it right there.
And that was like a recent situation where I was like, oh. And then eventually I was like, well, maybe I should say something. But,
right.
But
and honestly, like there's so much strength in that, because what if it happens to someone else who like doesn't even recognize how wrong this is, and it progresses.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the fun stuff. I'm glad that you can look back at things fondly.
I know.
You have your wellness community that you've been building, Daniella's Digest. So you took your kind of health situations and have turned it into something that can give back, and you can share everything that you've learned. How long have you been doing this for, and can you share with everyone exactly what it is?
Sure. Daniella's Digest was simply just an Instagram account that I created probably 10, 15 years ago. And I wanted an outlet for me to share more of like at the time it was more like my activism, but I didn't realize what I was even like an activist of. And now it's evolved into like, I'm an activist for people and advocating for themselves and finding that sovereignty and like really understanding that they have power. And we can heal ourselves, and we can make different choices. And also like, it's just an education tool that I wanted to be digestible, because there's way too much information. And even me, someone who enjoys this stuff, can be overwhelmed by it, because it really comes down to the simplest things. And I always try to simplify things so that I can wrap my head around it. Like in a day, if we hydrate properly, we're getting good sun, we're putting nourishing, clean foods from ideally places we trust into our body, and we're moving our body, we're sweating, we're sleeping well, we've accomplished a really beautiful holistic approach to that day, right?
See, the only thing I had been missing was the sweating.
The sweating is so important.
I know. Will you talk about that? Because took me till just recently to figure that out. And I still haven't really implemented it in my life since I've been back. But when I went to the Dominican Republic, I was like, oh my God, after brain surgery, I stopped sweating because I had no balance for a long time. And, there was a lot of fear. And so, yeah.
Yeah,
makes a big difference.
I'm no expert, but I certainly believe in detox. So like everyone knows that we're going to be exposed to so many toxins throughout the day. And the best way I know how to detox from these toxins we have no control being exposed to is sweating. And so we can do the chlorophyll drops, we can take the charcoal, we can eat the cilantro, but like ultimately if we get it out of our pores, like that's a fast track. You have a sauna though, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. I know I'm going to get one. So I'm like excited to implement that because it's hard to make time to sweat, especially when you're a busy person
I know.
and you're like, but my hair and my makeup's done and I got to shoot this and now my daughter's asleep. And I know it's hard. It's hard.
It really is.
Yeah, but you know what also I really love? I try to take a bath like 3 or 4 times a week, and I will lay in there with my magnesium Epsom salts, and I will sweat.
I know, I sweat too.
So I'm like, this is
So then
fine.
I have to take a cold shower after because I can't just...
Oh, I know. You're like, wait, I just sat in my own sweat.
Yeah. Or I'll jump in the hot tub or like sometimes at night, Kevin and I will congregate. We'll get in the hot tub so we can talk about our day, and then we cold plunge in the pool.
Love that.
Because at night it's like cold.
Totally.
And so,
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think I need a cold plunge. Our pool is freezing.
I know. And furthermore, when I do that, I sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
It's a really nice kind
That's
of ritual.
great.
But you're right. Those are the pillars.
Yeah.
And the sun part, I pounced on that because it's funny because behind the scenes, I feel like everyone is starting to come to the realization that we've been sold a bag of goods. And they're all secretly like, oh, I get sun and I don't wear sunscreen, but don't tell anyone. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want everyone coming at me. And so, guys, it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, I got a little crushed when I went online talking about it, but I'm like,
sure you did.
this is for me.
Yes, and that's the thing is
If it's not for
always
you, it's
from a
not for you.
personal place.
That's it.
That's what actually gives me the most strength sometimes is like, this is what works for me. And like, it may not work for everyone, but I've had years of figuring things out for myself. And I promise you, I don't drink caffeine or a lot of caffeine. I drink matcha once in a while, but like, I'm really careful about, I don't need much. I really don't need much. And I'm generally speaking, my husband said this last night and he was like, I don't know how you're going to tell your story, but if you could just translate that, like, you've always been a really energetic, happy person and you've never been on anything or needed anything. And I'm like, yeah, how do I sum that up? I think it really has to do with the basics, and it's not hard. It's those digestible moments in a day that we have complete power over. So the community was really just to like amplify these messages in a way that was more concise so that people never felt overwhelmed. And they also had the resources. So like if you are a subscriber to the app, which is anywhere from $79 to $99 a year, you get meal plans, and then you also get the recipes for those meal plans. You also get access to get everything for those recipes delivered to your door. So that way it's like easy.
Oh yeah, you do something with Instacart, right?
Yeah, so it's like
you get an Instacart shopping list.
Instacart or Amazon. So the shopping list for your, let's say you curate a meal plan with all the things that you want for that day, for that week. You can then check out, have everything delivered to your go. You could also like tweak it if you want things to be organic or gluten-free or whatever, have it delivered. And then for annual members, I have a deal section on products that I love that are more niche, like anywhere from the supplements I take to the makeup and the skincare. Also like Vitamix gave us a really generous offer they don't offer anywhere else. Like things that I'm like, if I can offer value to people who really don't realize how much they need these things, you know, like there's that. And then there's coaches available 24/7. So if you don't know that you're able to do this on your own, you just need to pick up a phone. It's like you need to talk to a sister or something. They're there to like walk you through those, I have the allergies, or I'm scared of the sun, but here's what you could do.
That's amazing. Good for you.
Yeah, and I got lucky. Like this was not all my idea. This came from a place of people texting me like, what can I do for this? Or I have a cold, my daughter has strep throat. What do I do? You know, what can I eat tomorrow? It's like, I just wanted it to be in one place. Yeah.
How do you do that without fear of getting into trouble with someone saying, I did this and something horrible happened? So that's like my thing.
The thing is like, I'm no expert. At the end of the day, everything I know is from like trial and error. And I'm not claiming that this diet is the one and all. And I will stand out and finally say this. Like, I've been vegan for 25 years. I've been vegetarian for 30 years. I don't claim that this is for everyone. This works for me, and it has, and I have no complaints, and I feel great. But I'm not saying that is the solution.
Only way.
It's not the only way. You know, I thought that like I'd have kids and I'd have this big vegan family. It's like, the reality is my family's mostly plant-based. We mostly try to eat organic. We mostly try to live a clean lifestyle. But like, That's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
I am vegan and I work like that, but I don't force these on everyone. I do think that it's a great foundation.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're trying to make a change and you're trying to clean things up, it can definitely help. And then you find your way from there.
Yeah. How do you do the sun?
I'm not afraid. I mean, the real reality is if I had it my way, I would be out every morning, like as soon as I wake up, or at least within the first like 20 minutes. And that's kind of how I operate. I drink my tea outside in the morning. My husband and I will eat lunch sometimes outside. We walk our dog together every day outside. And it's not like I'm laying there all the time. I would love to, but like I'm just out. I love being outside.
Me too. I literally think we're like sisters.
Yeah, I think so.
We're like so similar.
You know what I heard recently that I think you'll love?
What?
So someone called it the cathedral effect. So basically the idea is that we think bigger when we're outside or in a cathedral. I find that if I am inside for too long, that like my thoughts, my energy, everything becomes more suppressed. The second I'm like, oh, I'm feeling a little like sluggish, and I go outside, I'm a different human being, and even my thoughts expand.
I agree. Kevin feels the same way, but it's true. It's like we are smaller inside. There's no expansiveness in here like there is outside.
Yeah.
So I do the sun as well. I'll tell you, when my naturopath came together with me, it'll be 2 years ago next month. She was like, I need you to get out and do the sunrise sun. No more sunscreen. You need the sun to get absorbed in your body, into your skin, into your eyes, the whole thing. And I was like, oh my God, what about all the brown spots? Right? Isn't that the first question people say? And as I look at my skin in the mirror, I laugh because even my housekeeper was like, your brown spots are gone. All of them went away.
Wow.
And it's such a myth that the sun causes the brown spots. First of all, I did hear from someone that heat helps create them. So like if you're hot, I would, like when I'd be on vacation, I would have a bucket with cold ice and water and towels, and I would put them on my face to cool it off. Because at first that's how I thought I would, mitigate the brown spots. But the sun actually heals your skin.
It's incredible. That's the whole
It's the
thing,
blue
going
light
back
that
to the
creates it.
simple. It's like if we just don't deprive ourselves from the things that feel good, we like to be in the sun. It feels good on our skin. But when it gets too hot, we go inside, we put whatever.
The lions go in the shade in the wilderness.
The natural things.
Yeah.
But we're constantly being inundated with information, and sometimes it just deters us off like what regulates us.
Yeah.
And it's like you really do need to like take a break. I feel like for me, when I'm trying to like really hone in on, let's say like even up until like 2 months ago, I felt myself kind of derailing off course for a little bit, and I was on a faster journey and I wasn't sure where I was going, and I was neglecting certain habits.
It happens.
It happens.
I just went through it too.
Totally.
Yep.
And then
You
realize, you're like, you realign. And when you realign, you come back almost stronger because you're like, whoa, I realize that like those things really have a more effect when it's like coming off of a tailspin.
Yeah.
And that's like those natural things. It's like you just need the quiet to then hone in on the things that work for you, because we're all individuals.
Yeah.
That bio-individuality is real, but you don't realize what that bio-individuality is until you clear everything out and really work on yourself and try to find what works for you. Oh, that water tastes good, but I don't think it's the right, and you have to be intuitive about it.
You talk about intuitive eating.
I love the intuition. I think that because we all have it, but again, there's so much noise, especially on our phones. It's like you see one thing that you're influenced by, and all of a sudden your intuition just left the building. So
yeah, well, that's the problem now. There's so much noise that I do believe you have to take some time and really like check in with yourself and think of what feels right for you. And you have to start building that confidence around your intuition. Before I move on, I have to make sure I plug our amazing sponsors who help us with the show. Of course, guys, OUAI is my favorite hair care brand right now. I'm obsessed with their leave-in conditioner and their hair oil, which I've used today. Kevin's obsessed with it as well. which is great because we only have to bring one set of products when we travel. That always helps my travel bag since I have so many holistic health things that I need to bring with me. For any listeners who want to elevate their hair care routine, try out Way products. You can go to www.theway.com. We have a promo code to help you guys out. 15% off if you use the promo code Heal Squad. My suggestion, start with the leave-in conditioner and the hair oil. I think those are my two top products. I think you're going to love them. And then, of course, Macy's, friends, has everything you need for your summer occasions. Kevin just sported his suit that he bought, along with my dad who got his suit, both at Macy's because they were both doing this insane sale, and they both benefited from it. I have everything that I love right now, including a lot of the stuff that I bought for my kitchen. We just renovated our kitchen, which is what I was telling you about before, how I hate renovations and I'm never doing one again. But I got a lot of non-toxic stuff at Macy's, which was so cool.
Awesome.
There's a plateware company called Fable, and then there's Caraway.
Yes.
And so they all are at Macy's. They're in my wish list. Check it out in the podcast description. And I hope you guys enjoy. So this wellness journey, you built this wellness community. What do you have next that you want to do in the wellness space? And then we'll get into a little bit of your new acting.
Yeah, this is such a fun one that's like very much in the infancy stages, but I find myself going back to like my roots and those core memories that bring me so much joy. And when I thought about like, if I were to ever do a product, like what would it be that feels really authentic to me? Because I am so, I don't know about you, I'm like done selling things that like we hope sells, you know, like that I could like try to find a story around. It's like, no, I have stories and I'm going to figure out the product that is the story. And there is one, and if you follow me, you know, it's something I make at home almost every week. It is something so close to my heart. And when I was thinking about like, how do I create something out of this that feels new and like it fixes something, I think I did. And so there's certainly like products in mind that I want to do that feel really close to my heart. And I'm excited. I think that there is so much to be done in the wellness space and also so little that we actually need. Yeah. And so it's hard for me to like think, how do I amplify this message? Because the real thing that I want to do is help people understand that it's really a lot easier than like we're all led to believe, and we don't need all the things. And they do help. Like I love my magnesium. I love my certain supplements and things, but like it's actually the simplest. It's actually the subtracting of all the noise that makes us feel our best.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm on the same page with you as that. And my naturopath and I talk about it all the time. There's just, it's staying as close to nature as possible, and then supplementing the things that you absolutely need, not just doing what your friends tell you. Oh, you should take this, or you should take that, which is what everybody does now. And it's funny because I'm in the same journey where I'm like, I want to make things that we need.
Yes.
Not make things because I can make things and sell things.
Yeah.
Make things that we need. Make things that I want that don't exist. That's like what I'm excited about in this next chapter.
I love it. You're in the next chapter too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. It's so cool. So now you're also acting and jumping back into that world now that the kids are a little older. By the way, do you work with your husband?
No, we had a podcast together.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, he's got his own thing and I got my own thing.
Okay. Kevin and I obviously work together.
I mean, he's literally the man that he makes sure everything's organized and I pay my taxes. Like, you know, he's that guy for sure.
Yeah. So in this new kind of phase, what do you want to do in acting?
Well,
what are you doing?
Yeah. So I just finished a really sweet movie that I'm so excited about. It was on my bucket list and I've always kept it. I'm kind of a niche actor in a sense that like, I love comedy and that's really all I love to do. So, and I love like good feel good, you know, holiday.
Me too.
So that's my thing, man.
Me too. That's why I'm starting a holiday film fund.
So smart. And and I think it's like,
so was it a Christmas movie?
It's a Christmas movie.
Dead.
And it's funny and it's
we are
so
freaking
cute.
twins.
We are the same person.
We are the same person. That's it. Somehow we did not know each other until now, but
I
Okay,
know.
go ahead. I'm dead.
Yeah,
This is so funny.
that was my entry into, work again.
This was your first
my
one?
first job back in like 5 years.
And you've never done a Christmas movie
I've
before.
done one for Nickelodeon years ago, but
Okay.
like I wanted the one that's cute and sweet and like romantic, but fun and funny and relatable. And it was all of that and more. And I was so thrilled.
That's so funny. Who's your co-star?
Lindsay Fonseca.
Okay.
So she's also kind of a comedy. So this is the first time that they've done a female lead comedy holiday. So fun.
And who's going to...
It's Hallmark.
For Hallmark, great.
Yeah, it's Hallmark. And my character gets married. It's like a biracial marriage, and it's beautiful. He's Indian, and it's like, so it was such an experience for me to like wear this gorgeous Indian.
Oh my God, you must have looked amazing.
It was so much fun. It was like Bollywood dance and like
Daniella's Digest.
Yeah.
Which I'm so excited to hear kind of the foundation of it, because I think it's what people really, really need.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, my naturopath and I are working on a course to kind of help the Heal Squad get that foundational, the exact same thing where it's like, here's what you need to understand. Here's what's missing in kind of, medical worlds. Here's the foundational things you need to live a healthy, energetic, vibrant life. And here's how to do it so that you feel confident being the CEO of your health.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you have to be the CEO of your health. I talk about that every single day here. And we're not taught that. We're taught to just go lay our care in the hands of someone who looks smarter than you.
And who doesn't know you. Knows nothing about your history either.
And yeah, they might be smarter than us because they've gone to medical school. But again, if you understand how they're being trained, they're not being trained like the doctors of the past. The doctors of the past, when they'd come with their little thing and they were like trying to figure out what was wrong with you. Now it's like, oh, wait, what are your symptoms? Great. And then later when it doesn't work, it's like, oh, well, we must have given you the wrong prescription. We were just going off your symptoms. And you're like, wait, what? I thought that x-ray was really clear that my dad had pneumonia. And they're like, no, maybe we just, Yeah. I was like, wow. So
I know, the CEO of your health. And I think like what's so nice about your show is that people can get inspired by listening to these stories and little tidbits of information. There's certainly another layer that I can see where it's like, but give me the tools, give me like the shortcut, or whatever it's called, the dummies version.
Yeah, that's what I call it. Yeah,
it's
all the time.
so good. That's what people need, because you're living proof. That it works, and you're committed to the journey. And once you commit, it's like you don't see it any other way.
Yeah. I know. It's so funny. If like someone had told me this is how it was all going to kind of go, I would never have known, but I never knew where anything was going.
It's better that you didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't have known how strong you could be.
It's true.
Yeah.
That was like a weird through line where my husband was always like, you don't realize how strong you are. And I'm like, no, I don't think I'm strong. I don't think I'm strong. And then after the pancreas tumor last year, I remember looking at him and be like, oh, I'm an animal. And
then motherhood.
Nothing. Yeah. Like there's just no question in my mind that I am like the strongest human being, even though at the same time, I know how vulnerable and like
totally
I can be, and how I know I need my posse of people and love. I can't do it by myself, but I know that I'm stronger than I ever imagined. And I think that's the gift that comes with these crises and with these illnesses, is you have the opportunity to get to know yourself on another level. Like, what are you made of? What do you have in you? And it transforms you.
It really does.
So
yeah.
I love you.
I love
you. We're going to be new besties.
Yeah.
And
dinner with Kevin. He'll make the marinara and I will. Which one?
God. Kevin doesn't cook.
Then I'm making food.
By the way, that's the only thing Kevin doesn't do.
Listen, he's cooking up a lot of other stuff. I can see it.
He does careers. He does dogs. He does babies. He does parents. He does.
Yeah. What was he calling Cupcake Day?
Yeah. He wants to do Cupcake Day. He wants he does everything. He's Mr. Clean.
I love that.
Yeah. He does everything but cooking.
That's all right.
So
other people could do that.
That's all good. We got you.
Yeah.
But Danielle, this has been such a pleasure. Thank you so
Likewise.
much.
Thank you.
Friends, if you want to know more about Daniella and her wellness company, you can just go to the podcast description below and check it all out. In the meantime, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or MariaMenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.